It's your girl Jay Ness, and I'm back with another freaking video. And I'm outside. The highway's right there, so if you hear cars zooming past, that's why they're getting off the exit. Sorry in advance, but I want to do my video outside today because it is just a really nice day outside, and I have a good story time. So I'm like, why don't I go sit outside? And guess I'm gonna be looking around a lot because I always look around a lot when I'm outside. You know, I be aware of all my surroundings. It's a really pretty view out here. Can you guys today's story time is going to be about why I quit housekeeping. Now, I've worked a few housekeeping jobs, so I'm gonna touch base on why I quit all of them. Because I think they all tie hand in hand, and I think honestly I'm done with housekeeping until I move, because baby, housekeeping is stressful. Okay, there's a lot to housekeeping that people do not tell, that people don't talk about, because either they don't care, they deal with it, or maybe they just don't go through it. Maybe it's just, I don't know. But I think until I move, I'm done doing housekeeping because it's just too much of a small area around here. Okay, so yeah. Alright, so let's start out. I'm gonna go down from my most recent housekeeping job to my least recent housekeeping job, and I'm gonna explain all of them. So keep in mind, I'm not using names, none of that, because it's not something I'm bitter about or something that I'm gonna, like, I'm just telling you guys the ins and outs of housekeeping, because everybody liked my day in the life of housekeeper, so I'm gonna tell y'all a day in the life of housekeeper, which is what's gonna make you quit. Okay, all right. So my most recent job, I worked with people that I knew kind of personally. I didn't know everybody personally, but a few people I knew personally, and I think that's where I mess up with jobs, is working with people that I know personally doesn't always work out. Not in a bad necessarily way, but it just doesn't usually work out. I'm gonna just say that. So I have been working there since January, since my vlog life, vlog number whatever, adult life sucks, whatever video that is, when I was at my interview. I had started a few days after that, and I worked until March when COVID-19 started, and then I came back to work for like a week, I would say, and I quit. So here's why I quit. So in my day in the life of housekeeper video, you see my job was pretty easy. I just cleaned rooms, and the rooms weren't that hard to clean. So when I came back to work from COVID-19, the workers had painted most of the rooms. They had painted like the bathrooms, replaced stuff, like whatever. So the whole room, we had to put it back together, and we had to scrub paint off the grounds, as you can see in my housekeeping video part 2, which I'll put the link in the description in case you haven't seen it. So we were doing that, and at first I was like, I came back to work to scrub paint off the ground, but then I'm like, I went through this whole COVID-19, no unemployment money, so I kind of need some money, so I'm going to deal with it. And then again, it wasn't like I was going to be scrubbing floors for the rest of my career there, so I was dealing with it, blase. One thing is, when me and Demira work the same jobs, people tend to not like that. I don't know if they don't like that because I don't know if they don't like it because they think she's a boy. But we don't ever act lovey-dovey at work. We're too smart for that. We know better than that, and that just looks stupid to us, trying to be lovey-dovey when we're at work trying to get money. Like, we have the house to do that. You feel me? So we were never like that. But from the time that she was about to start, the managers and stuff were coming to me and having me relay messages for her, which is fine. That's fine. Most jobs that we work together do that anyways, because they see how close we are, so the communication is just easier if it's one way. So one day my girlfriend had texted our manager and said that she needed a day off for an appointment or whatever. Our manager texted back, girl bye, and blocked her number. So that's cool and everything. So we let that bypass. Mind you, we weren't working at that time. So when we came back to work, everything was like nothing had ever happened. So cool. So then all of a sudden it became a problem because one day my car wasn't starting. Now, if y'all remember, I was going to the car shop like 5 times a freaking month, and my car is finally fixed. So one day my car hadn't started, and I was waiting on somebody to come jump my car because if, like I said, we needed money, why would we just skip out on work? We were gonna find a way to come to work. So I texted the manager, and I'm like, blase, my car won't start, so we'll be a little late, whatever. So all of a sudden it flipped into some big situation involving our boss, and apparently the whole issue was that we kept saying we in the, I kept saying we in the messages, and we weren't reaching out separately. Now, for the people who are going to be like, that's common sense, yes, it's common sense, but how can it be common sense? How am I supposed to know that I have to be reaching out, we had to be reaching out separately when the managers don't even reach out separately? When we came back to work, the manager called my phone asking if we both wanted to come to work. Why? Because she had Damir's number blocked. So I'm like, okay, so now we're sitting in here talking to the manager and the boss, and I feel like I'm being ganged up on because I'm like, it's all about you say we, you say we, you say we, but nobody's focusing on the fault of the other people, which is the people. If I had never got a text or a phone call saying we, why would I think that it's okay for me to continuously to reach out on the both of our behalves, you know? For Christ's sake, they know we leave and we come together. They send us home together. They say when one's done, we can both go. So it's like, it wasn't intentionally my fault. So being as though I guess we knew each other personally, I guess that's why it was such a personal situation. I don't know. So after the discussion was done, it was getting a little heated towards the end, and then the discussion ended. So I went back to my rooms to start cleaning and everything, and then I realized I need more gloves. Now, you hear me say I realized I needed more gloves. I'm not gonna go down to the area that they're in for no reason. It's no reason for me to be around people who I already know no longer want me around, you know? So I go down to the laundry room to try and get more gloves, and as I walk in there, I hear my text messages being read off to the other employees. I'm like, huh? So I stand there for a few seconds and I'm listening. I walk in and I'm like, so you're my manager, but oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. That was a bee and he just threw himself to the ground. He needs to chill out. I'm not trying to react to him. But anyways, so I'm tripping and I'm like, so you're my manager reading off our messages to our other employees. I don't really like that, and like it was no need for it to keep going on. We could have just went about our day, kept working, you know, doing what we gotta do. So she immediately got defensive, started yelling and cussing, and then what she did was she put her finger in my face, and I immediately I wanted to spaz and all that, but I was like, you know what? Now I see that me working with people I know personally is just not going to work out, because it's not that the positions get to their head. It's like they want so much better. I don't know what people be wanting, but I feel as though since I was known personally, I was held to a higher standard. And then once that fell, it was like, F her, like, and I really didn't even do anything. If you feel as though I was wrong in the situation, let me know, because I don't feel as though I was wrong. So I'm leaving out because I'm like, I just came down here for gloves and now it's all this mess, and I'm like, okay, I'm going back upstairs. So I was smart and I still stood by the door to wait and see if the conversation was going to continue when I left. So as I'm standing at the door, I guess they thought the door had closed. No, I was still standing there. I hear my manager continue to say, and her dumb ass gonna try and tell me her brother came to fix her car. So I walked back in there and I was like, I guess she thought I had left, but I didn't. And by the way, my car was never really broke. My car just needed a jump start, and my brother did come to jump my car. And if I still had our messages, which I let them go, because I tend, if I keep reading messages that piss me off, I just never let a situation go. So I deleted the messages. I don't have the messages. If you don't believe me, you don't believe me. But she like, I walk back in there and I'm like, my brother did start my car, and oh, this is the part I was gonna say. I had messages telling her that we were on the way, and she said no, wait until 11 when our other boss came in there, which I was confused by, because why would you want to still relay messages to the boss and try and get us in trouble when you claim you messed with us so hard when I told you we were on the way? You know, it wasn't like I was lying. We were on the way. So she told me to wait, so I just went back home. So then when we did come to work and we had that conversation, it kind of threw me off, because I'm like, so did you not tell our boss that I told you we were on the way? And I guess that's why she was so mad, because I wasn't expected to air everything out. But I don't feel like I should have gotten in trouble when I bust my ass for that job, and it was really nothing for me to get in trouble with, you know. So after that, I just got too mad. I went upstairs and I was crying through anger, not through sadness or embarrassment, through anger. And I just told Amir, I was like, I'm about to just go home, because this is not going to work, and clearly it's going to keep being a toxic work environment. So she seen I was crying. So I go downstairs, I tell my boss, and she's looking at me like, and I'm like, why are you looking at me like that? And she's like, that doesn't sound like her. Like, I'm not used to hearing her talk like that. And I'm like, right, me either, because I really didn't do anything, so I don't really get that. I bust my ass. I came in there on days when nobody else was at work. It was just me or Demira. No managers, no bosses, nothing. Like, I was trustworthy and I was a very good worker. I bust my ass for the wrong jobs all the time. So Demira clocked us out, and the boss was like, where are you guys going? I'm like, I'm leaving. Like, why would you want, like, you're gonna let us keep working like this? Because I know the issue's not gonna get fixed. So left, turned my uniforms in, got my check, and that was that. So with that story being said, that is what made me realize I need to stop working with people that I know personally. No offense, it just is better if I work with people that I don't know, because less problems are likely to happen. So it's 4 stories, y'all. So the next one is around in December, I was working at this hotel. I'm gonna put the name out there. It was called Extended Stay America, and I was working one day, you know, chilling. I didn't know anybody personally there besides one person, and she wasn't really somebody who I knew personally. Like, I knew her, but we didn't talk like we knew each other. So one day she came into my room and she was like, mind you, this is an easy job. Like, I could have kept this job for years. I would probably still be there right now, because it was so lenient, good hours, all that. So she came in my room and she was like, girl, why the other employee just telling me that they got roaches and bed bugs? I immediately dropped everything. Immediately my nerves started acting up. I started itching really bad. I'm like, nah, man. I started swearing that something was biting me on my back. And I even took my shirt off, had her look at my back. I'm like, oh my God, now I'm tripping. So I called my mom, and I'm like, am I wrong if I quit? Because I think that as a manager or a boss, you are supposed to inform your workers about that, if you know, as well as the fact that somebody died in one of the rooms, and we were not told by the boss or the manager. We had to get told by another staff who didn't even really have to tell us. So I'm like, somebody died and they got roaches and bed bugs. So I called my mom, told my mom, and I'm like, am I wrong if I leave? Because I kind of will feel bad, but then again, I'm not bringing roaches nor bed bugs in my house or Demir's house or anybody else's house that I go in. So my mom was like, no, like, that makes sense, leave. So left my boots at the job. I'm like, so basically after that, I was gonna give the manager another chance to, like, explain himself, but he immediately started cussing at me again. You know, managers love cussing at me. I don't know why. He immediately started cussing at me. He said I was unprofessional and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I just called corporate, because, baby boy, you can't be mad at me because we caught you having roaches, bed bugs, and somebody died in the room and you didn't tell us. That's on you. So now you done lost 2 employees, and I really wasn't understanding how he even still had employees, because my only thought was they're taking roaches and bed bugs home, you know? So, I don't know how that worked. That wasn't too much of a long story time. My next one is, I was working at this hotel, and it was cool, you know. I'm gonna tell this story because a lot of people wonder if housekeepers get a lot of hours or not. The answer is it honestly depends. At one of my jobs, I was working like 80 to 90 hours a week. But this one, I was promised 40 plus hours a week, and I was on the schedule only once or twice a week. Baby, I have bills. I have stuff to take care of. I have people to help back that have helped me. So I don't think that maybe she didn't think I heard her when she told me the hours I was supposed to get, but I'm like, these aren't the hours I'm supposed to get. Mind you, she said she was on vacation or something, so I'm like, okay, that's fine, but you only gave me your number to contact. I don't have nobody else to contact. So did you do that on purpose? Did you do that to test my patience? Because I'm like, at this point, I'm like, can you give me somebody else's number to contact, because the hotel's closed right now and there's nobody for me to speak to, and I want to know if I can come into work and get more hours. Because I was confused as to how people with less experience or no experience was getting like only a day or 2 off, and I was only getting a day or 2 at work. And not to help, when you do housekeeping, you go home when your rooms are done. So if I only have 3 rooms, I'm going to be out of there by like 11 or 12. So I was, pretty upset. So we get to going back and forth on text or whatever. And eventually she was like, okay, well, maybe this job won't work out for you. And I'm looking at the text like, what the hell do she mean? Maybe, like, what does she mean? Like, I'm just trying to ask for more hours. That means that the job's not going to work for me because I'm asking for more hours? Y'all, tell me if that makes sense. So we kept going back and forth. So eventually I got in contact with the boss, and she was kind of saying the same thing. So I'm like, listen, when you guys have more hours available and y'all mean that y'all actually have more hours available, please ring my phone, because I would gladly come back. The boss said, okay. I'm not going back to that job because, once again, I knew somebody who had worked there personally, so I feel as though that's where the animosity came from. And I honestly don't get that. Don't hire me if it's going to be weird feelings or something. Like, that's kind of petty, I go to every job, especially housekeeping, ready to bust my ass because it's what I like to do, So, yeah, that story wasn't really too much major. Now, this last one, my last housekeeping story time about why I quit housekeeping. So, I was working this job faithfully, okay? I'm talking, I came in all my off days. I only let myself get, I'd work 9 days, take a day off, work some more, and whenever I was tired, I would actually take my day off. If I didn't want to take my day off, I went to work, and they didn't care. So I, cleaned really good. I was one of the best cleaners. Attendance great, money great. Yeah, so I made really good friends there, and once again, I knew almost every single worker there personally, down to the managers. So one day we had this lead, and it was like she would pick with me for nothing. I cleaned the right way. She had her own method of cleaning. She had her own way she cleaned. She had her own way that she put the towels and stuff. Now, that's fine. You have your own way to put everything, but I'm still going to do it the way I was trained from my boss. My boss was trained for us to put 4 towels, not 3. This lady's trying to tell me to put 3. All I did, now no offense, but sometimes Hispanic people take me the wrong way. I really don't understand why, but she must have thought that I was getting smart. But all I was trying to say was, I'm going to put 4 towels because it's a double bedroom, and I was told that it's 4 towels, So she went and told the manager whatever and got me in trouble. I got a warning, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. Second time, we're in the bathroom, and at this hotel, it was this thing like, our showers tended to keep these black scuff type marks or whatever on the ground, and they were really hard to get up. You had to use Tilex to get them, and a Mr. Clean magic eraser. So she kept trying to tell me that there was black stuff on the thing when I had been scrubbing for like 20 minutes. I'm like looking like bifocals, like there's no black here. So I go in there with her because she's trying to show me or whatever. I'm looking, I'm like, I still don't see it. Now she thinks I'm being smart. She goes and tells the other managers. So I'm like, what the? My manager comes up there. My manager literally tells me she doesn't really see anything, but still sided with the freaking lady. She still went and said that there was still black stuff and that I was still wrong. So I'm asking her, like, where do you see black stuff? Like, what the hell? Like, now I'm about to damn near cry because I'm like, why do it feel like y'all are, like, just attacking me? Like, just because this lady don't like me for whatever reason, like, and we were cool. She took me home from work one day. So I'm like, where is this coming from? So then that had escalated, and then we had one more incident where she would always do this thing where if I was in a stayover, which is somebody who's staying like over and over and over, like they're not checking out. I was in a stayover, which means that they're possibly in their room as well. And I had a checkout room next to that room, and she kept coming to knock on the stayover room to tell me something to do in the checkout room. She did it like 3 times, and finally I told her, I said, can you please write it on my paper like everybody else does, because you keep interrupting me in this stayover. They're going to get annoyed, I'm getting annoyed, and then we're going to get a complaint. She didn't like that. We had this big argument in the hallway, and she went and told my manager that I said I was going to have my mom come there to fight her. Now, anybody who knows me knows I would never put my mom in any situation. I've never in my life done that. My mom has too much of a good career for me to ever risk any of that. So the managers didn't want to hear nothing I had to say. So this fast forward to the day when the big stuff happened. So it was a Friday. We had just got paid. My check was $1,015. I made $1,200 before taxes got taken out. It was a 105-hour check. So we had 15 rooms, 11 checkouts, and the rest were stayovers. Y'all, when I got to my last room, one of my managers came up to me and was like, they need you in the office downstairs to have a talk. I had already got word from somebody else that I worked there with that I know personally that they were going to have a talk with me, but I wasn't told what was about to happen. So I go in the office and I sit down, and there's a paper in front of me. And there's another lady in there who I didn't really like, but she was in there, and I'm just confused, like, how come you in here and the lady who's trying to get me fired isn't? How come nobody will let me talk to her? How come nobody will let us squash the beef? Why is her job so much more important than mine? Like, I don't get it. We could have squashed the beef. I already tried talking to the lady, and we were good for a good amount of time, and then she pulled her shit again. So clearly we just needed to have a talk. I'm sitting in there like, are y'all about to fire me? And they said, well, we told you had one more chance and then you would be terminated. And I'm like, terminated? I didn't even do anything. I'm like, why? And she proceeds to tell me that I said what I said about my mom. And I looked at everybody in the room. I'm like, I would never put my mom in a situation like that. I wouldn't even do something that's going to make me lose my job unless I genuinely wanted to lose my job. I would have just quit, like. So I'm looking at everybody like, what the fuck? Like, okay, so they like signed the paper because you're terminated or whatever. Listen, y'all, I lost my shit. I ain't even gonna lie. I told them motherfuckers I wasn't signing no paper. She tried to give me a paper. I ripped the paper up. I don't want none of that. I went upstairs to the mirror. I'm like, I'm out. I quit. I got fired. Everybody's following me all the way up the elevator, chasing behind me, acting like I'm ready to fucking go a fucking berserk attack in there. Like, I'm like, well, y'all are doing too much and just making me way more mad. Like, y'all are really testing my anger at this point. So now I get back down to the lobby. They're still following behind me like cats and dogs. I'm like, what the is y'all following behind me for? Like, I do not need no motherfucking escort. I don't. So now it's a whole bunch of people in the lobby. I will admit that I went off on everybody in the lobby, telling them that they didn't care about them and all that. And that was that. I went out. I had to go outside because I got threatened with the police. And another dude that worked there who was cool, he was trying to talk to me and calm me down. And like, there's other jobs out here. I'm like, yes, there's other jobs out here, but I busted my ass for this one. They fired me at the end of my work day after I got paid, talking about, you still get your check. I know I still get my check. Oh, I know I still get my check. Oh, it would have been some shit if I didn't still get my check. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that I'm damn near crying asking for my job because I didn't do anything and y'all just don't care. So that was really that. That's why I quit housekeeping. I'm done with housekeeping for now until I move to a whole new area where I don't know anybody, because this is just too much. I'm too old to keep job hopping. I'm too old to keep quitting or getting fired. I'm too old for that. So my A Day in the Life of a Housekeeper, I Quit Storytime, is about how stressful housekeeping is. Nobody really understands the stress of housekeeping. Like, everybody just thinks, oh, you go into work, you clean some rooms, and you get off. It is a lot more to that, okay? And it is stressful. Like, but yeah, I just wanted to give y'all that story time because y'all been asking in my other videos, and I feel like y'all will watch this, and I hope y'all do. If y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, please comment them. I love reading my comments. I love replying to my comments. And smash that like button, leave a comment, share this video, make sure you tell a friend that J-Ness is back. And if you like my housekeeping videos, I hope you guys like this one. If you guys want any other story times, let me know. Somebody is staring at me and about to give them the finger. Yeah, peace out, y'all.